that a little bit, or just step up in different ways in order to get you
I think it's still playing to your strength. If you go out and try to do things that you're not comfortable doing or not capable of doing, that's not going to help the team win. So, be more aggressive in your strength. And if we get enough guys to do that, we'll give ourselves a chance.
Who's that leader out in the floor right now in these lineups, or is it more of a by committee thing?
I think, again, everybody leads in their own way. But, I think Darius, obviously having the ball in his hands, is a guy who dictates and leads. Jarrett leads by his effort, and how hard he plays and how hard he works. George is always talking, and he leads through that and with his effort and toughness. So I think it's just different guys, like that carry each other in a different way.
One of the most efficient offenses in the league, and if Devin's able to go tonight as well, just adds to that. So just defensively, what's the benchmarks that you want to hit, priorities?
You just got to make it difficult. You got to try to keep them out of transition as best you possibly can, and you got to try to keep them out of the middle of the floor as best you possibly can. Again, they have guys who are elite in isolation, who are extremely efficient in, shots that aren't necessarily efficient, but they get to the mid-range and they're capable of knocking those shots down. So we've just got to limit, how much penetration they get and how many easy looks and easy touches they get.
Chris.
Hey, JB.
What's up, Chris?
On any given night, Durant, Booker, Beal, they would command and require the best opposing defender from the other team. How do you make the decision on who Isaac guards when all three of them are that talented?
We've got some pretty good defensive players, that surround Isaac also. So, it becomes obviously where we feel, Isaac's ability to slow down a guy where it may work best. So that went into the thinking behind it, and then, putting guys around him. And obviously, we'll still maintain our system. Tonight's not a night where, off a back-to-back where you just come out and do something that you've never done before against an elite offensive team. So we'll stick with our system. Individuals will take individual challenges, and we'll fight our asses off.
In what way, as a coach, have you noticed the scouting report on Sam Merrill change from what it was about a month ago?
You see people, are paying way more attention to him. Like they've changed their schemes so that they don't leave him open. There were times where we put Sam in the opposite corner and the team's scheme was to, rotate their low man over to help. Teams have stopped doing that. Teams are, putting their best perimeter defender on him at times, and they're bigger, longer, more physical guys to try to eliminate him from being able to play offensively. So you can definitely tell there's recognition there, and it's respect because he's obviously shown what he's capable of.
Thank you.
Bob. Tristan's close to coming back. Will he be able to just step right in and play?
That's the hope. Yeah, we're trying our best. Over these past 4 games now, including today, to simulate as much basketball as we can with him. Obviously, that's not easy, but he's always been able to keep himself in great shape. So our expectation is when he comes back, he'll be ready to go.
Jim.
I think tonight makes it so that Donovan can't get to 65 games, which would mean he can't get to All-NBA at the end of the year. What do you think of that rule, and what do you think of the idea of Donovan Mitchell not being on one of those teams?
He's obviously deserving. I think I understand where the league is coming from as far as trying to get guys to play games. I do think there are maybe different consequences and different reasons of why. Like in Donovan's case, these aren't rest games. If there was a limit or number of rest games or something that the league could come up with, I think it would be better. But again, I'm a proponent of, and always have been, like going back to growing up watching this game, like the guys play. And I think it's, what the fans deserve. I think it's what's best for the business of basketball, is that guys, when they're healthy and available, they play. So it's a tough one. But, like everybody knows Donovan Mitchell is an All-NBA player, and he's had an All-NBA season. I don't think you should be punished for injuries. I think there's a way around it with the rest games and those types of things.
You kind of mentioned maybe there's a limit for rest games. Can you think of a fix for it?
No, that's not my job.
Jackson.
So going off of Chris's question, Sam is 5 of his last 30 from 3. Are you at all concerned
No, not at all. No. He'll make shots. That's what Sam does.
So it's tough to contain Kevin Durant when you're fully healthy. What's the plan for doing that when you're down bodies at that position?
I mean, you just got to make it difficult. Like there's certain guys in this league who, there is no answer for on this planet. And Kevin Durant happens to be one of those guys. Like when he gets to his spot, it's a matter of whether or not he makes or misses the shot. But you've got to try your best to eliminate him from getting to his spot. How disruptive can you be with his dribble when he puts the ball on the floor? And between the dribble and his shot release, can you disrupt his rhythm a little bit by using your hands without fouling? Those types of things. And then you got to, hope your teammates give you some help. And that's one of the things that we've been good at defensively is we trust each other, and it's never a one-on-one match. It's always a 5-on-1 or whatever the action is.
Spencer Davies, Kansas Cider. The circumstances are obviously not good, but when you get to reward players that do stick with it, like Craig and Amani, Zay, with the playing time in big moments like you have been the last couple, what's that like when you get to actually see them go out there and play when it means something?
Yeah, I mean, that's again, we always talk about the fun part of our job is being able to help people's dreams come true. And those are the guys, who are competing, who are working their tails off every single day, and they don't get to see, the rewards like, the guys who have consistently been playing do. So to be able to put them in a game and give them an opportunity to play is a joy for us as coaches. You love watching them go out there, compete, scrap, and like those are the guys you just want to see because they've persevered and overcome so much that you just want to give them an opportunity and let them have a little fun.
How do you think that they've responded to that opportunity?
I think they've always been good. It's never easy, and we put them in tough situations where sometimes they have to sit for a long time and then they get in, or sometimes they play a short stint. And I think they've responded well, from an attitude standpoint, a productivity standpoint. But it's not an easy, thing to sit 3 quarters and then go play in an NBA game. But I think they've done a great job of maintaining their focus and being prepared.
Tim.
JB, as much as you talk about the grit, the resiliency, the fight of the team, do you ever sense frustration with the guys that, man, we just haven't had our roster together? Do you ever sense that?
I mean, not really, to be honest with you. I know, they want that to happen, but they're also realistic of what's in front of them. And, they have a really positive outlook on this team and each other. And if you allow that frustration to seep in, it can turn, the vibe of or the environment that they've helped to create here into something that they don't want. And, they don't want to be, walking around moping and woe is me and, having an attitude that, that things just aren't working out for us. Like, they take every challenge with a positive outlook, and they just figure out a way to try and let's go get it done. And I'm grateful that they're that way, but it's helped us overcome a lot this year and put us in the position we're in right now, to be honest.
Is that something that's inherent with the group of guys in the locker room, or do you have to instill that once in a while, like, hey, don't let it go?
Yeah, I think it's natural for them, but I do think, and again, I'll speak organizationally, coaching staff, like just players, it's something that is an attitude of every single day, right? Like, you don't walk into our building ever and see guys down, see people sulking, pouting, complaining. Like, that's just not who we are here in Cleveland. And I think that's a credit to everybody that's a part of this thing, is like creating a vibe where people want to be, people want to come, and people want to stay. And I think we've done a great job of that organizationally.
Anything else in the room? Okay, it's going to wrap. Coach?